What if your main character got exactly what they wanted, with no resistance, no setbacks and no inner doubts? That story wouldn't last more than 5 pages, because let's face it, no conflict, no story. It's as simple and as brutal as that. But the good news, conflict is also what makes your characters real and your story unforgettable. Hi, I'm Andrea from Bibisco, the novel writing software trusted by over 200,000 writers around the world to bring their stories and their characters to life. And today we are exploring what really drives a story forward: character conflict. Let's start with the basics. Character conflict is the force that creates movement in a story. It's that gap between what your characters want and what's standing in their way. That gap is where tension lives. Your protagonist might crave love, freedom, justice or redemption, but maybe they are blocked by society, or a rival, or more often by themselves. Conflict can come from the outside, like an enemy or a hostile environment, but it also simmers on the inside. Fear, guilt, shame, doubt. A young woman dreams of opening her heart again, but can't let go of the betrayal she still carries. A soldier is fighting a physical war, but also fighting memories that keep him awake at night. These aren't just events, they are battles that reveal character. We usually talk about two kinds of conflict, internal and external. Internal conflict is the quiet storm inside your character. Emotional wounds, moral dilemmas, desires at war with fear. It's I want this, but I'm not sure I deserve it. Or I know what's right, but I don't want to do it. For example, a police officer who must choose between loyalty to a lifelong friend or loyalty to the law. These inner struggles add layers, complexity and vulnerability. They make your character human. External conflict, on the other hand, comes from outside. It's antagonists, systems, expectations, disasters, rivals, and even nature itself. A young artist battling her conservative family to follow her dream, that's external. A detective chasing a killer who's always one step ahead, also external. But here's the key. The best stories don't pick just one. They intertwine both. A hero might be fighting a dictator on the outside but struggling with self-doubt on the inside. The dual tension is where the real magic happens. That's when your story breathes. Conflict isn't just a plot device, it's the crucible where your characters are forged. Without conflict, your character stays safe, unchallenged, unchanged. And a character who never changes, that's like a seed that never sprouts. There's potential, but no growth. Let's think about what real growth means in storytelling. It's not about your character learning a simple lesson or achieving a goal. It's about them being forced out of their comfort zone, emotionally, morally, or physically, and discovering who they really are when it counts. This is where conflict does its real work. It strips away what's easy, what's habitual, and challenges your characters to face uncomfortable truths. Sometimes they rise, sometimes they fall, but either way, they evolve. Let's take another example. Imagine a surgeon at the top of their career, respected, confident, in control. On the surface, they have everything, but when a medical error leads to a patient's unexpected death, their world cracks. The external conflict, the hospital is investigating them, colleagues are pulling away, and their reputation is on the line. The internal conflict, for the first time, they are doubting their own ends. The certainty that once defined them is gone. Now, as long as they retreat into protocol and pride stay in their comfort zone, they can't move forward. But when they choose to face the truth, to take responsibility, to speak to the grieving family, to question their methods, that's the moment something shifts. It's painful, humbling, human. Is exactly what makes the character grow. Because conflict, real conflict, doesn't just challenge what a character does, it challenges who they are. And when they respond with courage or even just honesty, we see the evolution. And that's the kind of transformation readers never forget. And speaking of things that make you feel something, if you are enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more tips on storytelling, character development and creative writing. It really helps us keep bringing you content like this. But conflict alone isn't enough. For it to matter, it has to cost something. A challenge without real consequences is just an inconvenience. But a challenge that threatens your character's identity, their relationships, their sense of self, that's where the tension becomes real. Think back to our surgeon. Losing a job would be hard, but what really shakes them isn't the paycheck. It's the fear that they are no longer the person they believed they were. The calm, infallible professional they've always projected. That's what raising the stakes truly means. Revealing what's really at risk when your character takes action or refuses to. Because we don't just watch stories to see what happens, we watch to see what it means to the people living it. When failure threatens to unravel everything a character thought was true about their world, their values, themselves, we as readers lean in. We care because we see a person standing on the edge of something that matters. To build a powerful character conflict, you need the right tools. Not just to organize your ideas, but to explore what truly drives your character from the inside out. That's where bibisco comes in. Because to create authentic, meaningful conflict, you first have to understand your characters at their core. That's exactly what bibisco's character interview is designed for. It's not a form, it's a conversation. You sit down with your character one question at a time and start to uncover the emotional and psychological roots of their internal conflict. Then, with bibisco's dedicated sections for defining conflict, you can clearly outline both the internal tensions and the external obstacles each character faces. And beyond the conflict itself, bibisco helps you define each character's evolution, how they'll grow, what they'll sacrifice, and what kind of person they'll become by the end of the story. So, when you sit down to write, you are not forcing conflict into your plot. You are letting it emerge naturally from your character's deepest truths. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy writing.